But if you close your eyes.
Hey guys, it's Brooke. So I'm wearing the same thing as I did in my last video because I'm doing 2 videos in one day. But today I'm going to be talking about my experience starting cheer at an older age. And this video was requested on my Instagram. I never thought about doing a video like this, and I don't know why, because I talk about it all the time. I know a lot of people who are subscribed to me are curious about this, so I really hope this video is informative and helpful, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So first, I'm gonna do a little backstory on me. So I started cheering when I was 14 years old. So when I tried out, the teams at my gym were a youth 1, a junior 2, and a senior 3. I made junior 2 because I was too old for youth 1, and now I'm just gonna talk about like the different main points about it. Okay, so the first thing I think that's important to know about starting cheer at a later age is like there's nothing wrong with that. I still now like hear people say like, oh, you started cheer when you're in high school. Most people start when they're like 8 or 9, and that's people who aren't even in cheer. It's just kind of a known fact that a lot of cheerleaders start cheering when they're like little babies. Like that's just how it goes, but it doesn't have to. If you want to do it, do it. It has nothing to do with your skill level. That's why there's levels 1 through 6. That's why we have teams for 3-year-olds to literally any age. Programs are designed to accommodate every and any athlete, so unless you have like a health reason to not start cheer, there's never a reason not to. Next thing you should know is that sometimes it can be frustrating to start cheer at an older age because with tumbling specifically, it is harder to get skills. I have said this before, and I've also had coaches be like, yeah, that's true. If you start tumbling after your body's already gone through puberty and you've already like grown and gone through your growth spurt and everything, it's harder to tumble. I'm trying to think of like the actual scientific reasoning, but it just is harder to tumble for most people after you've already gone through puberty and your body's already grown. Going with that, usually the mindset of tumbling is a little bit harder. Most athletes who do get mental blocks are older. It's frustrating, I get that. You don't have to have tumbling be your strongest point, so like that's just kind of a heads up. Something else you should know about starting cheer at an older age is that sometimes, this is not always true, but I was personally, out of 19 on the team I was on my first year of cheer, I was one of 3 girls who were 14, and almost everyone else was 7, 8, 9, and 10. There were a few like 12, 13-year-olds, but almost everyone was young, and it was kind of weird and sometimes frustrating because, you know, our coach would be like, be sharp, and I'm like, guys, it's not hard, but obviously harder for a 7 or 8-year-old to be sharp or to know the dance or to remember choreography, and that was sometimes frustrating to be on a team with much younger girls. I think it was frustrating because like they were so young. It wasn't really the age gap. Like last year I was 18 and I was on a team with some 12 and 13-year-olds, and I loved them. I loved spending time with them. I loved being on a team with them. I still talk to them. Like it wasn't about the age gap, it just that was that like 7 is such a young age to be on a team with a 14-year-old, and it's just like more of a maturity gap than 13 to 18. But that being said, that gave me the opportunity of leadership, and that's not something I'd ever experienced before. So I always just saw myself as a follower. I was just like, oh, I'm not a leader, I'm not loud. I was actually so shy before I started cheer, which now I'm super loud, but I was so shy. Like I was that girl in class where if I said anything, people would be like, oh my gosh, she can talk. Like literally, that happened a lot. Like I was so quiet, and cheer brought me out of that, which I love. Like our coach would be like, y'all talk it over as a team, and everyone would just look at me just because I was older. That kind of was like, it threw me in a place of leadership, but I ended up really loving that, and I have grown from that since. And something else about starting cheer at an older age is that I think it helps me appreciate it more, because personally I feel like I'm not obsessed with cheer, but I think I love it more than the average person. Like that's why I'm doing it after high school, but I really do have a passion for it. And since I didn't start cheer till I was in high school, I never got burnt out. I never felt burnt out. I think a lot of girls or guys who start cheer when they're like 5 or 6 or 7, whatever age, by the time they're like 16, sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, I'm burnt out. And I get that, but I don't really get it from like a personal level because I love cheer. I want to do it for as long as I can, for as long as my body will allow me to. As my first season of cheer went on, I kind of realized like I only have 4 years to cheer, which wasn't true because I continued after high school, but at this point I didn't know that that was a possibility. So I was like, oh my gosh, I only have 4 years to cheer. I want to like really soak it all in and not take advantage of the fact that I'm here. So I think starting cheer at a younger age helped me appreciate it a lot more. I appreciate my coaches, my teammates, my teams, competitions, just the entire sport, and that I got to be a part of it. I definitely think that that helped me appreciate it more. I also think it helped me work harder. It was like, I want to go to Summit before I have to stop cheering. And it wasn't like, oh, I've got 8 years. I was like, no, I want to go like this year, next year, or the next year, or I'm not going. So it gave me more of a drive and it helped me work harder. And I think also a big part of that is because a lot of girls who started cheer at a very young age, cheer has just been their life and they don't know anything else. But I did do other things before cheer, like I tried other sports and I spent my time doing other things before I spent my time doing cheer. For me, when I started cheer, I was like, I'd rather be here than doing a school sport. I'd rather be with my team at a competition than a football game. Like, I would just rather be here. And obviously I still had time to like hang out with my friends and do other stuff, but not always being around cheer my entire life and not knowing anything else helped me appreciate it more. I also think it's kind of, in a way, better to know things outside of cheer and not have cheer be your whole life. I kind of want to do a whole video about that because I feel like there's a huge difference between being obsessed with cheer and being dedicated and passionate about it, and there's a very fine line, and I feel like people don't really see that line, so I kind of want to do a video about that. But anyways, starting cheer at an older age, like since you're older, you just have more of a grasp about like the really good things about it, I would say. Personally for me, especially when I was at Champion, realized that cheer brings out the best me. Like the best version of Brooke is at cheer practice, the worst version of Brooke is at school. Since I was older, I'm not saying like I was way smarter than everybody, but I did have more of like a mature grasp on the sport and the morals behind it and hard work and dedication and teamwork, and I feel like that's something that like you can learn at a young age, but it really doesn't click until you're a little bit older and you've truly experienced it and like you just understand things more when you're older. I wouldn't necessarily say starting cheer at an older age was really hard because at the time it wasn't, I never was like, ugh, everyone on this team is so much younger than me and so much better than me. Like there were times like my whole cheer career I've been like, wow, she's 12 and way better than me. But like usually I'm kind of half kidding because that's just who I am. There was never a time where I thought maybe I shouldn't cheer, I'm too old. Like I never even thought about that. Like it was just like, I want to cheer, so I'm going to. I think I'm actually more appreciative that I started cheer at an older age because it just, I feel like it was able to teach me so much more. So yeah, to sum up, I don't regret starting cheer at an older age. I don't think your age should ever keep you from wanting to do any sport, no matter what people say about, oh, you have to start early, like that doesn't matter. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!